field at quick speed at the moment. And this is the full Eastern Suburbs side. Russell Fairfax, David Michael, Kerry Bowstead, Noel Cleal, Steve McFarlane, Ken Wright, Kevin Hastings, Gary Warnicky, Des O'Reilly, Bernie Gurr, Royce Aylett, John Lang, John Harvey, and the coach was Bob Fulton. Now Gary Warnicky playing in number 8. There he is, just with the ball. His ability to contain Steve Mortimer and Gary Hughes could well rest the outcome of today's clash. I'm sure that his coach, Bobby Fulton, has designated the solid tackling lock to this vital task. How he carries out this job could probably tell the story of the game. The Canterbury side coming out in a little bit like dribs and drabs today. Some of them slow, some of them running, but this is the full side. Greg Brentnell, a fullback. Lee Pomfret will be playing at number 19. Chris Mortimer, Peter Mortimer in the centre. Steve Gearin in the wing. Gary Hughes and Steve Mortimer the halves. Mark Hughes at lock. Stephen Folkes, Graham Hughes and Jeff Robinson as the back row. George Paponis, captain. John Coveney, and the coach, of course, is sure under instructions from Fulton. Straight away on attacker, Eastern Suburbs. And the penalty rightly against Steve Mortimer for an incorrect feed. John Lang, there's a bit of an altercation. There's been some headbutting straight away. Robinson and Aylett going at it, hammer and tongs. This is like a 10-rounder over the old Rushcutters Bay. Flurry as that scrum broke up. Let's see it again. We've got both touch judges in. Now let's have a look at that scrum again. This was it. There was a penalty came from it as a result of a very incorrect feed from Steve Mortimer. Our cameras followed Mortimer, and then this happened. Robinson started with the right hand. Aylett handled that well, and there's been a little bit of a headbutt gone in. And he's taken a very strong right hand. Hartley's in there actually physically. Good quick thinking by Robinson. Now Canterbury have got an overlap on the right if they can move it quickly. Gary Hughes, Mark Hughes, Folkes, long pass out to Pomfret. Can't come inside his defender. Yes, he does. And gets into the half. East end. Coveney arrived late at the ruck. Got the ball. I don't think he expected it. Had 13 minutes of play in this first half. Steve Mortimer cuts out a man, Gary Hughes. Hughes right through the gap. Looking for support on the outside. Gets a lovely pass away to Gearin. And the referee's called it forward. Offside indeed. Fine, left footer. He's come up with one about 15 metres away. Look at Gearin go too. That's a good game. Canterbury nice and deep. Robinson trailing back. I don't know whether he's hurt or it's going to come with a late rush at one of the latter parts of the ruck. The sequence of 6. The opponent's trying to go from dummy half to score one of those tries that became his signature. Gary Hughes, Steve Mortimer. Beautiful pass on to Chris Mortimer. Oh, I think he's in. It's a try. Beautiful pass. He was on the burst, came inside the defence, and that was first-class stuff. But look at the little man, Steve Mortimer. He's come up with a bit of magic. Field. Harvey. 4-3. East lead. 2 penalty goals to a try. O'Reilly. 10 metres outside the east quarter. Lang. Aylett looks for support. It's gone beautifully and got a magic pass away to Bowstead. Bowstead's up to the quarter line. Look at that tackle. That was Steve Mortimer. He's pulled off some remarkable tackles. Now some of these Canterbury players are offside as McFarlane comes across field. Now they're all back on side and the gap perhaps is closed. The opportunity is gone perhaps. Great run by Aylett. Great tackle by Mortimer. Gurr. Last tackle. Hastings. That's a better kick. There's pressure from Brentnell. Oh, and like the Rock of Gibraltar, he stood his ground and took it beautifully. He and Fairfax. Well, Fairfax is on top of him, going on a little bit like a crazy man there for a few moments. Gary Hughes. Coveney. Steve Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Mark Hughes always finds his brother. Still on their own side of halfway. Steve Mortimer. Peter Mortimer. Brentnell, the fullback, chiming in. Pass back to Mortimer. Mortimer's on the boil. Going nicely, gets a pass back inside to Gearin. Gearin's up the left-hand side. He's got Fairfax to beat. Does it easily in the corner. Well, he stepped around Fairfax with the greatest of ease, and I think one of the Canterbury players has just said something to Fairfax, indicating that he might pull the wrong rein and go down. Stokes under a high one. Referee says play on, as Harvey, no malicious intent in that, he just happened to get him high. Mortimer Steve to Mark Hughes. Eastern Suburbs doing it hard at the moment. Steve Mortimer. Coveney. Oh, heavy stuff from Harvey. Head on. Gary Hughes. Robinson. He's found a gap. Got a pass away there to Graham Hughes. Forward, that one I thought for Papanis, but he's under the post. Right under the post goes George Papanis, and that I would think is going to be very difficult for Eastern Suburbs to come back from. But see it again. That error. Aleph. Wannicky. Steve Mortimer all over Wannicky like a rash there. It's over. Gurr desperately waiting to touch the ball. Wannicky goes on his own. There's a try. Aleph. Better late than never. Papanis kicks the ball away in disgust, but it's a try.
Carry on and do the job that they've done for us this year.
Peter Moore, the secretary of the Canterbury Bankstown Club, naturally elated. As Britnell takes what could be one of the last touches for him in this game. Been a very superior performance by Canterbury. Their defence has been magnificent. And the tries they've scored have been good ones. They've not sustained any injuries, apart from a few cuts.
When Peter Moore finished talking with us, then Rex, he's walking out in the field to shake hands with Ted Glossop and meet the side as they come off.
The hooter in the background, so predictably the Canterbury side have come up with a good win, 13 points to 7 over Eastern Suburbs. They go straight into the grand final. Eastern Suburbs now are faced with the job of defeating the winner of the St George West game, which will be televising tomorrow. The try scorers in today's games have been, for the Canterbury Bankstown side, Chris Mortimer, Steve Gearin and George Paponis, and 2 goals to Steve Gearin in their tally of 13 points.